But I wanted to make this video tonight because what I've noticed is an absolute flood of questions about Raen now that it's getting close to launching its assessment, which is pretty imminent. So I wanted to make this video to answer as many of these as I can, but you might also notice that I just took to Twitter to vent because I've just been getting so tired of going online and seeing people talking about prop trading and saying things like, does anyone know a prop firm that doesn't penalise you for swing trading? So I'll repeat what I said on Twitter in case anyone's not seen it. The definition of prop is using the firm's capital and balance sheet to conduct your financial transactions. If you are trading demo and you are not live with the company's capital, you're not a prop trader. It's really that simple. If you're trading the company's live capital, then yes, you are technically in prop. But if you don't have a team to support you, including a dedicated risk manager and not a simple auto liquidation engine, then you're not real prop. And I just wanted to get that off my chest because it is a bone of contention for me. But I'll talk to you a little bit tonight about the vision at Raen, their assessment criteria, and what I believe makes them an excellent opportunity in an industry that currently is saturated with fake prop firms. But before that, I wanted to address a point which I want everyone to be very clear on, which is that Raen is not my prop firm. I'm a senior trader for Raen that runs their European desk of traders, most of whom are in European fixed income and equities right now, but they're bringing more on all the time. I've consulted with Raen about many things, including the potential structure of assessments and the ethos at some of the firms I've worked for previously, like Futex, Gelber, and I've come to know Raen's senior management very well, but this is not my firm. And when I talk about Raen online and with you guys and give my opinion on the firm, you might notice that I will sometimes say we. Here at Raen, we think this, or here at Raen, we do that. And the we is just simply because in the short time that I've been here, I already really feel part of the team. But again, to be very clear, this is not my prop firm. Having said that, it is the firm that I would have built and a firm that I am genuinely excited and proud to be a part of. I think, as I said in the last episode of VFL, that Raen really has the potential to disrupt the entire industry because it is doing things the proper way. It's identifying talent and then it's looking to cultivate that talent to create world-class traders in what is, let's face it, the most competitive arena on earth. This is not a firm to get capital to punt with. It is a place to build a career with a team who are obsessed with markets. The team that I've been working with since I've been here are fixated on identifying and capturing profitable opportunities and exploiting them at scale and consistently pushing the boundaries of what's possible in markets. And in the time I've been here, I've seen firsthand the caliber of traders they've hired. We've got guys from Point72, Steve Cohen's hedge fund, Jane Street, and as head of the European desk, I've personally sat through hours and hours of meetings going backwards and forwards with risk consultants on how to even manage some of these traders due to the size of them. You might have heard from Twitter that they've also brought on, as of last week, the architect and risk manager of some of the UK's highest profile day traders, including Navinder Sarau, who I'm sure most of you know from the book Flash Crash. I worked alongside him when I was at Futex, and I know his risk manager as well because he risk managed me back in the day, so that was a very exciting development. But the investment in talent has been fantastic to see, and the best thing about it is the way it elevates your trading, working with traders who are at the absolute top of their game. I honestly believe I could fill a fucking book with some of the things I've already seen on this virtual floor, and probably will do at some point. As I said again in the last episode of VFL, although Raen has been open since last summer to those who are willing to send in a track record, it's now going to offer assessments for those who don't have a track record or those that aren't willing to share that track record and want to go down a traditional assessment route. And I wanted to briefly cover that structure. And I wanted to do that because there are those who are serious in building a career in trading, and there are those who probably aren't as serious. And what I want to do here is talk directly to those who are serious about trading as a career and try to discourage those who are not when it comes to potentially applying for Raen. So when the assessment launches, it will be split into 2 stages. Phase 1 will concentrate on basic profitability targets, while at the same time looking to identify fundamental trading competence and aptitude. Phase 1 is designed to separate those who show genuine promise from those who are just simply interested in gambling. The first stage rules are to trade a 100k account in our simulated environment, which is powered by CQG and which you can actually see on the screen. This is just a demo account that I had set up for me to show you what it looks like. You can see I've just got a layout for bunds, so a daily, hourly, 5-minute chart, and then a DOM. But this is fully customizable. So the target is to make $20,000 profit before hitting an account drawdown of $8,000, and that's with a $2,000 daily stop in place. And phase 1 requires you to trade for a total of 30 days. Now, when I told someone this recently, they said, 20k on 100k, that's like 20%. How am I going to make 20% before drawing down 8%? Honestly, you got off lightly. When Raen was consulting with one of their senior traders who had an annual profit target of $50 million at his prior firm, he suggested a modest 35% return should be required. And that's the level that we're looking at here in terms of people's confidence in themselves and what they can return. But again, it is $20,000 profit before hitting an account drawdown of $8,000 with a $2,000 daily stop. There'll be a monthly fee for this, which will cover the necessary data feeds, infrastructure in the assessment. Now, you can take as long as you need in phase 1, and you can also reset your account if you hit any risk limit at no additional cost. But essentially all that matters in phase 1 is demonstrating consistent performance and proper risk management over 30 days. Why over 30 days when there are firms out there that are offering you the ability to pass and get funded within 5 days? Because that's ridiculous. You cannot tell anything whatsoever about a trader's competence in 5 days. Raen is about finding competent traders and then scaling them aggressively. That is why it will take at least 30 days to get through phase 1. Now, just to labour that point slightly, if you think about it, since there are 20 trading days in a month, you will not be able to complete phase 1 in a month. It would take you around 6 weeks minimum. But in phase 1, Raen aims to let traders do what they do best, which is trade. This is something I consulted with them on in the beginning, and together we thought it was very important that there would be no restrictive rules. I've always held overnights in my trading. I was allowed to hold overnights when I was in prop originally back in the day, so here at Raen you can hold overnights. There will be no trailing drawdowns because trailing drawdowns is quite frankly fucking ridiculous. There will be no consistency rules. I mean, I could go on all day about arbitrary rules many of these funded firms utilise to trip traders up. None of that will go on at Raen. Now, if the trader passes stage 1, they will receive a full refund of all the fees paid and then move on to stage 2, which is now free and there's no monthly costs going forward. Phase 2 is where Raen begin building institutional grade traders. Now, when Raen were considering their assessment, I know one of the questions that was going backwards and forwards in the team was, how do you evaluate genuine trading capability whilst differentiating real skill from simple luck over compressed timeframes? Real talent evaluation requires looking beyond simple profit targets and drawdown limits. You know, firms that are genuinely interested in developing institutional traders will look at how returns are generated, how risks are managed, whether strategies can scale, and a deep evaluation is needed to reveal whether a trader can truly succeed in an institutional context. And that, I'm sure, will make sense to you, because simple profit targets tell you nothing about how the returns are generated. They tell you nothing about the efficiency of capital deployment, the consistency of execution, the robustness of risk management, and so on and so forth. Only these factors determine whether you have longevity and you can scale in an institutional context. So in stage 2, you will be on the simulated environment again for another 30 days, but you will not be paying any more monthly fees. And since you've been paid your assessment money back, at this point, it's a risk-free proposition. The trader will come into our virtual environment and they'll work with a huge pool of talent, not just being evaluated, but actively collaborating with senior risk managers who have built 8-figure traders throughout their careers and working with exceptional traders as well. You might have seen recently that I posted a picture to X of the virtual office that we use. If you haven't seen it, you could go to my X and scroll down my media, but you'll see an actual floor plan of an office. When traders come in to phase 2, they will get their own office on one of our trading floors and we'll be able to collaborate with the team. We have instant video and screen sharing and we all work together. You really feel when you come into Raen that you are part of a team. Now, as you trade in phase 2, you'll be monitored and assessed using institutional metrics to help Raen define whether you have true edge and whether you have scalable edge. Everyone once live will be scaled aggressively as they perform. Scaling really is a big part of the advantages of being at Raen. They want traders to succeed, and you will work with the best risk managers whose sole aim is to help you scale your edge to as much size as it can handle. Now, I was just responding earlier to a somewhat flippant post on X, and again, forgive me for repeating it here, but someone responded to me tweeting earlier and said, what exactly does the risk manager do? Calculate 1% risk? A risk manager's role is complex. It involves, among many other things, intrinsically understanding each trader, their unique edge, and the market environment they're operating in. A risk manager with that information in mind can approve increases in limits for the trader or increases in drawdown levels, and both those things to help traders maximize their edge or even execute specific ideas or strategies. And of course, they help minimize or mitigate financial risk in situations where traders have no prior experience, and you'll be surprised how often that happens even when you've had a very lengthy career to date. And crucially, they can spot when a trader is losing or has lost control many times before the trader knows it themselves and step in. A truly excellent risk manager is absolutely invaluable, and every single professional trader I know wouldn't trade without one. I know 7-figure traders in prop who wouldn't take a shit without a risk manager. So in stage 2, again, trading capability is being assessed. Now, it's being assessed across 4 critical dimensions. I'm only going to repeat here what Raen wrote in the email that was sent out to people who are signed up, which is those dimensions are performance analysis, which is where raw returns are studied, consistency patterns are dissected, drawdown characteristics and recovery profiles are analysed. Risk framework, which is where Raen look at how you manage your exposure, how you handle your losses, and how you utilise capital across different market conditions. Your strategy profile, which is where they look at how your approach correlates with major risk factors and its potential for institutional level scale. And the execution quality, so doing a deep dive into position dynamics, market timing, risk response patterns. Now, I understand that for many people, what I've just said will seem like double dutch. And you will be playing it back and thinking, what the fuck is he talking about? And some of these metrics might seem very daunting if you haven't been in prop before. The average person on X who punts a 1 lot in the NQ and copies it to 20 accounts probably wouldn't know if they needed a shit or a haircut if you asked them what their Sortino ratio was. But that's precisely why our assessment process is developmental, not just evaluative. So in phase 2, you'll work with professionals who will help you understand not just what these metrics mean, but how to actually optimize them in your trading. For Raen, it's not just about finding, institutional grade traders. It's about building them. So again, you could be in phase 2 for another 30 days, but I think it's worth mentioning that if you have really good risk-adjusted returns in phase 1, you could be fast-tracked through phase 2. Raen don't want to waste your time. If you show talent, you will be fast-tracked. It's as simple as that. If you do pass phase 2 or you're fast-tracked through phase 2, you'll be transitioned onto Raen's junior desk where you'll be trading live capital. Again, you will be scaled aggressively upon performance, I'll repeat that a lot, and all while paying some of the lowest rates in the industry in commissions. The rates that Raen will be able to offer you will astound you. Now, having said all this and knowing the opportunity many of you will see, I do have some personal feelings on who shouldn't apply to Raen, and I want to address those here. Mainly, if your primary concern is how quickly you can pass a challenge and get a payout, I would say that you're not in the right mindset to try out for Raen. Raen are looking for people who want to take their edge and push it to the absolute limits, not people that are looking to punt. And I've seen a few people on socials in reference to Raen who have said things like, I'll have a go, see if I'm lucky enough to get through. It's the wrong firm for that. You can't pass an assessment in as few as 5 days like you can with many of these firms masquerading as prop firms. As I've said, you need to be trading for 30 days even to meet the team who will develop you, and 60 days in total before you'd get live capital unless you are fast tracked. And that means you've got to keep consistency up for more than short bursts, which is what this whole industry seems predicated on. You know, the baller on X who flipped an account in 2 weeks and then never mentions it again. In short, if you believe that you have talent and you want to make a career of this and you want to collaborate with some of the best in the business, I can genuinely say that I know of no other firm that is a better place to be. And if you've known me throughout my time on social media, you'll know that I have never affiliated with any company or any service, but I have spoken about things freely when I'm a part of them or use them myself. So at this stage, I will tell you, invites will go out for the first cohort this week and likely tomorrow. They're only going to onboard 200 initially, so I don't know that everyone that's going to apply to this is even going to get in. But if you don't make it, don't worry, you may be able to do so a few months down the line. You can sign up for that email at raintrading.com. Just put your email address in here, click get early access, and you'll go onto the waiting list. And again, will likely be emailed tomorrow. Finally, the only other thing I have to say is thank you for your patience in waiting for me to update the playbook. I will do it shortly. So if you've lost interest in checking the site, don't. That would be equivalent to buying the Nasdaq all day yesterday and then giving up right at the low. So I'll speak to you soon. In the meantime, I wish all of you well and hope to see some of you on the desk with me at Raen in the near future.